This is Claude Hall. I'm here with him at the Las Vegas Gun Show. Tell us a little bit about your history, Claude, if you would, please.
Okay, I've been promoting gun shows for over 35 years now, and it started off in Oklahoma, and I was the first private gun show promoter in the United States. And I did them in Oklahoma, and then I've done Southern California, Florida, Colorado, and waited a long time to get into Vegas. It had to get a bigger population, but I'm the original gun show promoter in Las Vegas as well, and I've been doing that for over 20 years here now. And as well as gun show promoting, of course, I collect guns. I like guns.
I would think you've got the opportune position to get what you want.
Well, kind of, sort of. You know, you have to let some of them go by. Let the other people get a chance to buy some of those. If you don't, they'll get mad at you.
Can't have that.
No.
Yeah, I know. The first time I seen your show is when I brought the gun down. It'll be 10 years ago next month.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
It goes by fast.
Yeah, it has.
does.
It has.
Yeah, it's an unusual gun. It's just a whole unusual situation.
But I remember some of the things you said back then, that you've never had a gun worth so much money at any of your shows.
That's right. And, you know, but there's another thing is, you know, if every gun could tell a story, and this one tells a story.
This is Glenn Parshall. He's the star of
Real Deal.
The Real Deal show. I'm sure you're familiar with the Gary Gilmore case.
Oh, absolutely. Remember when it was in the news?
But I don't think you ever saw the gun before.
No, I didn't. It's very unusual to see something like that. Little Browning 22, I see.
Yep, Browning Challenger 22. As I mentioned, you know, I talked a little bit about the ties, my ties, and, you know, the historic value. You know, this was the case that ended the federal moratorium that lasted 10 years. No executions until this.
Yep. I remember very much when it was on the news and all the appeals and everything. And
you, of all people, would know the value of a lot of items with your experience and what you're doing now. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Maybe?
Well, I've been a gun dealer for about 30 years. We deal in a lot of things besides guns. I'm a pawnbroker and a wheeler dealer and a picker, is the general term for it. We look at things that have value, things that are a little bit out of the norm, a little bit out of the ordinary, and buy and sell and trade in them. And that's the fun part of it. It's not just the old routine things every day. Well, this is fascinating that you got something out of evidence. I mean, these things just never get released. Hardly ever. I mean, the only other one that I know of similar notoriety would be the Jack Ruby revolver. And that was 50 years ago now, or pretty close to it.
That's right.
But these things just never come out. It's really unusual you got it.
The grandson of Wyatt Earp and Wyatt Earp himself.
Yeah, I came down here to see your Gilmore gun, which I think is one of the most historical guns there is. It has a lot to do with the laws that we now live by. And just to see it, I'm in awe. Because I've seen Hickok's gun, I've seen Wyatt's gun, I've seen Buffalo Bill's gun and held them. But this is amazing. There's a lot of history of your gun. A lot of history.
How did this gun make it out to civilian life again?
Well, Gary burglarized a friend of mine's father's store. He stole 11 guns, and this is the gun out of the 11 that he used for both murders. After the court case, the court gave it back to him.
To the original owner?
Back to the store owner, which is, you know, a fluke.
That's how I did it, yeah.
He put it away for 25 years. 25 years later, I became a gun dealer. I was doing bail bonds and a lot of gun shows and bounty hunting, and he brought the gun to me to sell because he knew me.
Yeah,
and trusted
he knew
me.
the history of it.
And that's where the pieces started coming together.
That's how it got out, then, because it went back to the original owner because it was stolen.
Yeah, which they should be.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, it should be, but I was just wondering how that thing made it out of the locker room, so to speak, you know. And you know, it's most unusual, most historical gun that's actually floated through there, that's had a story behind it, that's done that. There's a lot of guns go through, but none of them have that kind of story. None of them have that kind of history. None of them. I hadn't seen any of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the only one I could think of other than that would be the Derringer, shot Lincoln, that sort of thing.
And you had that in your show too?
No. However, I just said that might be more historical, you know.
Okay.
But this is the only one that's came through one of my gun shows. You know, it has that kind of a historical background.
Well, this gun, when I first went to sell it for the guy that brought it to me, we had an auction bid of $500,000. I see here 2 years ago, Jack Ruby had a bid of $750,000 on that gun. And I couldn't find any more information out after that bid.
I've seen similar numbers on things like that. You know, basically you've got a $200 gun here. The extra value is going to be added because of the connection with the crime and with the criminal that was using it. 200,000, 500,000, these are all numbers that are very possible. It just depends on how interested somebody is. It's unique, it's one of a kind. You're not going to have a second one coming up. You're not going to have a third one coming up. There is only one. And there's only going to be one connected with this particular case. This case were brought back the death penalty.
The history is made, how the life of the gun, what it's been and where it's been. You know, and that makes it historical. That's what makes it valuable. That's what anybody who would ever want it, they'd be priced based upon that. And that, you know, there's not another one to compare with it. So if you got one of a kind, how valuable is it?
How do you put a number on that?
You cannot put a number on it. And if you do, it's got to be, if the guy wants it, how much do you want it for? I mean, nope, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it until you talk me out of it. You know?
All those things make it a very unique thing, very unique collectible item.
So it's got all kinds of values. One's a dollar value, the other one's historical value.
Yeah, that's right.